All right, I pulled out the cancer cap. Don't worry, I'm not bald. I have my hair. It's just I got the cancer cap on. Don't worry about it. All right. I'll show you my hair. This is my hair. It's fine. It just looks bad. So I'm wearing the cancer cap. So you guys have probably heard about the Matrix. How people talk about escaping the Matrix, and the Matrix is essentially this idea that people built that the society that we currently live in is not under the control that we think that we have control over. So a lot of decisions that we make in our lives, the idea of the matrix is that the decisions are either limited or in fact made for us. And while I don't necessarily have the answer on escaping the matrix, I do have one thing that can help you be more aware of the matrix and make decisions within your own availability to escape it. And now it relates to why I have this. This is a super king size Reese's bar, 6 cups to share. And you're probably wondering why me, as a person who always talks about not eating unhealthy food, and this is really bad for you, obviously. And why you're probably wondering why I ate 4 of the cups, and why at the end of the video, so there's 2 cups in here, right? So at the end of the video, I'm gonna eat one more cup, and it all has to do with the point, the idea of the matrix, and one thing that we can do to escape it. So I'm going to start off and why I bought this and why I'm eating these Reese's. So past couple months, I've been watching the older videos from Ghazi, and I'm sure you guys all know this man, this money guru. And in his older videos from 7 years ago, he would vlog his daily life and the things that he did from his day to day, going to the gym, working hard, not going to school, enjoying life with festivals, and all these other things that he'd do that was super cool. And one thing that I really noticed that kind of took me aback was the fact that he indulged himself in sugary foods quite often. Now, obviously, is not a good trait as for a bodybuilder to have, but you can't deny the physique that he had back then, the leanness he had back then. And some might say, even himself, that it was his genetics that allowed him to have such a lean physique while eating a lot of sugar. But for me, that just shook my whole reality, especially coming out of watching Hamza and no junk food, not at all. And then I'd be very strict, that Greek yogurt, intermittent fasting type diet into everywhere I could, squeeze that very strict diet. And when I saw Eman, I saw the freedom. I saw excitement. I saw adventure. I saw enjoyment of life. And I'm not necessarily saying that candy fulfills all of these things, but it was the kind of breaking of the rules that really got my attention. And ever since that concept, I've been looking at my own life and thinking, the journey to med school, which is my personal path that I've chosen for the next couple years of my life, this path, it's not, I already know it's not about the destination. Like everybody knows, oh, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But I really started questioning, how can I make the journey to my path, the end goal, which is medical school, getting into medical school, a journey that I will look back on with gladness and joy, and the things that I do spend my time, and instead of studying every night from the minute I get home, what am I doing with my life to make things exciting, to build systems that my future self can benefit off of, and all of these things. And all these questions really just started from this story, the story of young Iman Ghazi. And this is the message that I want to give you today on how to escape the matrix. All your beliefs, whether it's political, whether it's scientific, whether it's emotional, especially emotional, all of them, those relating to your friends, those in relation to where you're going, your destination in life, all your beliefs are based on stories that you have been told and stories that you have bought. Obviously, you have to be told a story to buy it, but you get the point. Stories that you have bought. In this case, I bought the story of adventure through through the story of young Eman. And when I saw him with the candy, the sugar, the strength, the leanness, the energy he had, I simply bought that story. Now, I do draw a line. Um, I draw a line where he starts drinking Monster energy drinks. And the reason I draw that line is because of a story that I've been told somewhere along my life where Monster energy drinks are simply not a good idea. Maybe that line will be broken one day. We'll see. But this is the Matrix. And what's crazy is that, like all things that occur, things can get ultra megafied, scary business, us versus them, war, all out war. And I'm going to show you a couple examples. The brand Marlboro, like cigarette company, their branding, especially back in the 80s, 90s, even 70s, was a man who was a cowboy, adventurous, manly, masculine. He looked cool and he had like the perfect jawline and like a scruffy beard, and he smoked. You know, in that image of Marlboro, a manly man smokes, and there's your story, right there, in the 80s. There for all these men to see, from young boys to all boys, all would go to their stores and smoke because of the story that they've bought, that smoking makes you manly. That's social validation. And that's the Matrix, bro. Another example, Listerine. There's a, especially back, not nowadays anymore, not so much, but back then, an ad. It was a picture of a man walking away from a woman, and the woman was terribly sad. And the words, always the bridesmaid. And on the bottom, Listerine. So, a story of never achieving love, never getting love. Another human need. This is called inadequacy marketing, one of the many strategies that are taught and used fairly often in advertising. Nowadays, it's easier for people to spot, and it's easier for companies to get canceled for doing this. However, the stories still come at us ever so subtly. And these are very striking examples because they're simply examples that people have seen. But the Matrix are decisions that are made for you without your knowledge, and thus, whatever's happening, with advertising, stories are coming toward us without us being able to stop them and implanting beliefs in our mind about us, about society, about the next president. This is the Matrix. I mean, this is one aspect of the Matrix. I'm not saying this is all the Matrix, but it's definitely one that you can be aware of. So why? Why are the companies doing this? Well, Karl Marx proposed that this is the way the world runs. The world runs off of money, like economic business money. This is what he believed, and a lot of philosophers will go on to disagree with him, but it's just simply a theory put forth that is very compelling, especially to me. I personally don't know the answer, but it's a theory that exists. So this is the Matrix. Now, how do we quote unquote escape it? Before I go into that, I want to tell you one more thing about these Reese's. You know that processed foods are not good for you. You know, uh, going off the fact that the world runs off money. If you look at the food industry, I made a video about this a long time ago. If you scroll down my videos history, but they make these foods so calorie dense. It's the perfect combination of carbs, fat, and sugar that just make you come back for more. And why do you come back for more? Because they have hijacked to your brain's receptors. So similar to how, if you ever heard of how TikTok hijacks your brain's dopamine receptors, and there's a whole system behind that. I don't have time to explain it here, but by making calorie dense food, your brain, not only enjoyment receptors are activated, but survival instincts are activated, because your brain is telling you that Wow, good job. You found a food that's very high in nutrients. Let's do this again. And thus, you will return to 7-Eleven every afternoon to buy a Reese's cat packet or whatever, people do. Not necessarily you as the viewer on this channel, but people in general. And, these are people, as I say, who are stuck in the matrix. And I'm simply say this to support the statement that the world kind of does run off of money, right? You have companies, you have products, you have the consumers, and the money flow. And who gets the butt of the hit? Who dis does who what's the word? Who doesn't benefit? Who gets the disbenefit from this entire interaction? It's the person who's receiving the product, being addicted to these calorie dense foods, being addicted to the social medias, essentially buying into the matrix. And like I said, they buy into the matrix because of the stories that the companies have successfully implanted into the minds of the customers. So, how do you escape? To escape the matrix, especially certainly this aspect of the matrix, you must analyze your beliefs. What do you believe? And your beliefs comes from your values. What do you value? And you don't have to do this all at once, but as every value seems to resurface upon you making a decision, or anything else in which, or any other situation in which your values might surface, you take your value into account and ask yourself, what story have I bought that has led me to have this value? In the case of Iman and me eating this Reese's in a couple minutes, this value that I bought into was this: not to take life too seriously. Because as I've explained earlier, like in one of the first couple minutes, like the journey is here, and I already am going to work hard, and the destination is here rather. But the journey, in order to make it lively, and like I'm not coping, right? I'm not saying, oh, I'm just eating this because it's calories. I'm trying to bulk. Like if that's your value, then it's not coping. Like if your value is bulking, and you want to dirty bulk, that's your value, and that's the genuine life. That's a real genuine life, and that is a valid value. My value with this is to be like Iman, not to take life too seriously. So that is why I choose to eat this. But I don't consider myself fully escape the matrix, but the matrix could also be the beliefs that other people have put into you to tell you not to eat certain things. And certainly I'm not telling you to eat it or to not eat Reese's, but to make sure, essentially, that the decisions you make is not decided by anyone else. This is escaping the matrix. Because the matrix could be the companies, the mega tech, the social medias, but it could also be the messages that your parents told you 8 years ago, right? Why those words are still in control of you, you're under a matrix. Certainly, the wisdom that they've shared with you could be valuable, and you should have them as a value. But until you've truly grappled that as your own value, how are you meant to live a genuine life? Because living a good life and living a genuine life, it would be good to have both. But certainly I believe that genuinity is better. And obviously, when you look at the Bible, I don't have my Bible. There's a reason, and for good reason, that people reject it, If it's too easy to convert people to Christianity, they're not really Christian. Like, if it's too easy to convert someone, I mean, maybe if they're on the brink of they had like some sort of life event, like a canon event, and then they found God. Like, yeah, there's cases like that. But like, if people just converted to Christianity, how does that make sense? Like, how is the story of Christianity, which is good news, which is hope, which is life, how can that story just slide into their web of stories that they've believed for their whole life so easily? That just simply doesn't make sense. So I'd rather those people be skeptical of Christianity because they are at least somewhat staying true to whatever values, however fake they are. Obviously, if you took the time, however long it would take, to show them on a personal level, to connect with them and make that story that Christianity about hope is actually meaningful to them, to realign their values, then that's kind of more genuine, right? But my point here is that it's a good thing, I think, that people are hesitant, or it is difficult to convert someone from religion to religion, from atheist to Christian. So I'm going to eat this Reese's now, and it's a statement to the fact that I've thought about why I'm doing this. It's a statement to I am acknowledging the forces getting me to eat this for their benefit. I've acknowledged the forces telling me not to eat this for my benefit, and I've come up with my value. And my values are not permanent. I will not be eating these for the rest of my life. But as for today, as for this season, if you've enjoyed this video, I hope you give me a like and subscribe. And I do plan on making more YouTube videos. So there's a video for you right here. It's a thing. Click on it.